everybody, welcome back to Angel's Crafts. Tonight I'm going to do a couple of different molds. I am going to be doing what? Don't know why I waved again. I already said hi. Such a little weirdo. But I'm going to be doing an apple jar. And a unknown mold. This apple jar and the mold were given to me by a subscriber and my lovely mum, and I have no idea what it is, so I am going to dust it, pour it, and just see what it is. And this little lion was bought by a customer who wants the lion done and a couple of other items. I already pre-dusted that. I used this mica powder that I got from a box of stuff. The mica powder doesn't have any brand name, doesn't have colours on it, and it's sort of a deep reddish brown and a goldy yellowish colour. But as I says, I already coloured the lion. I'm going to use this Sigwong brown red in the strange mysterious mould. I have no idea what it is. It looks, well I do now, but it looks like it's got little feet shape to it. It's got a pointy, pokey out bit there, but I have no idea. Well, I do now. I had no idea what it was. So I'm going to just dust that in the brown. The apple jar, I am going to do green and red. And I'll also be using the Sigwong colours on this, because I want it to have a sort of a, well, I didn't really want it to have a transparency look, but these powders are so fine that it gives it a transparency look. So I decided instead of doing black behind them, I would just do clear. I sort my brushes, and I will powder the lid of the apple first. What am I reaching for? Oh aye, this is what I'm going to be using. T-Expert epoxy, part AB 1:1 ratio. It tells you on the front there what it is, what they are, but I can't read that. And on the back's all your instruction-y type things and your warnings. So I'm going to be using that resin. I quite like using T-Expert, it's a good resin. The mica powders from the Sigwong range are, I think that's how you pronounce it, Sigwong. Yeah, that anyway. But after I powdered it to start with, I realised that it was just too fine a colouring to use a black behind. Well, maybe it might have came out darker. If there's any resiners watching this, you let me know if you've ever used these colours, the Sigwong range of colours, and put black behind it if it's any good. I do a nice wee chunky red, but it's supposed to be red, but it looks there pretty pink, but it's not really. I'll speed through this so you don't have to watch in real time, because it's very boring. Hopefully hubby will speed through the green part as well. because that's a bigger area, and so that'll be just as boring. Because I'm sure you've all seen me do this, and if I'm a resin artist and you're watching this, then you'll probably know other resin artists, so you'll know the process. I sprinkle a little liberally the green in here, and end up having to take some out because I put too much in, because I'm so smart that way. I'll just use the leftover dust powder even in the apple part. Gotta make sure I dust that little bit in there too. Should have used a smaller brush, but yeah, I'm clever. As you can tell, I forgot to use a smaller brush. I just poked my big brush in there, using the big fat fluffy brush because it helps burnish it a little better. Not that it really needs to burnish, it's not chrome or flakes, and that's me trying to get it out the apple lid, and to make sure that underneath the rim part is all dusted as well while I'm at it. So hopefully from here on hubby will fast forward this part too, and I'll come back when the rest's all ready to be sorted. Well, here we are back to the pouring of the resin. I was going to do 10 fluid ounces, but it goes up in 2s, so I can't do 5 and 5. So I do 8 instead and go 4x4. It's easier that way. Once I make this up, I'm just going to use this. This one's just for the apple, because as I said, I decided to do it clear after I saw how pale the Sigwon colours were in it. And so that was part A and part B. No, part B and part A. I did it that way round. So when you're mixing your resin, always make sure that you scrape the sides and scrape the bottom. I was going to hand mix this, but my wrists and shoulders were pretty sore, so I ended up using my little Estoyo hand mixer, and I mixed up for 4 minutes, and then I scraped the sides and the bottom afterwards. because even though with a little hand mixer I can go round the sides and round the bottom, I still like to give it a little scrape just to make sure it's fully mixed. Yeah, it's me just showing you the little Historio hand mixer that I've got. I do have the AI version set up on another table. You just press it to the function and it'll stir for 4 minutes. But I didn't use that one today, I just used the little handheld one that sits on this table because I was being lazy and didn't want to get up. There are a few bubbles in this, and I should have took it over to the debubbler. As I says, I was being rather lazy, and I gave it a spritz of some isopropyl alcohol just to burst the bubbles on the top. And yes, I'm cleaning my materials now because I'm going to use them again, so it's easier to just give them a clean now than to wait and clean them thereafter. I am going to ask Ray very nicely to play some music for you again, and I will come back when I'm doing the black pour. No, I'll come back for just after I've done the black pour, when I'm doing the giraffe, because I do a giraffe because I have a little leftover black resin. So I'll come back when that is being poured and I'll explain to you all the bits and pieces. So over to Ray. Here we go, we're back to the black. I'll mixed up this the exact same way I did the regular, but then I used some Decorum black paste. I'll speak woman. I'll do the lion first. Now the lion's got a really weird flat shape on his head on the inside. I noticed that when I was colouring, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was. And I was not looking forward to demoulding this because I didn't want a lion with a flat bit on his head. So I poured it anyway. But it turns out it wasn't a regular flat bit on his head, but you'll see that when the demold comes. I poured halfway up and was giving him a little squeezy just so that I could knock out any bubbles round about his nose area and his head, so that he doesn't end up with any bubbles when I demold him. And the mould is feeling a little unsteady, so I just put some J. Dixon High Gloss that I use for my Eco-Pores that I gloss my Eco-Pore with behind it to make it steady. Now to fill up this weird and wondrously strange mould. I have no idea at this point what it is, so I am giving it a good squeeze so that I can hopefully have no bubbles, but not knowing what it is makes it kind of hard to figure out where there might be problems with bubbles. But I know where it is now, so I'll know where to sort it next time. I actually didn't end up with any bubbles in it, which is good. Yay me, I did something clever. I squeezed it just right. I gave it a little tappy and a bounce to try and knock any bubbles up to the surface so that I can pop them once I've finished filling it and the bubbles arise, and I'll just give them a spritz with some isopropyl alcohol. I had some leftover resin, and the gentleman who bought the lion mould for an order asked for a giraffe as well, and I have that little mould sitting to the side, so just to see what this one looks like for bubbles and stuff, which I'm glad I did, because now I know where potential bubbles can go. I filled this one up with the leftover black, and I squeezed the absolute daylights out of his nose. I gave it a squeeze and a twist and a turn and a pull, just because the nose turns up the way slightly, or down the way when you're looking at it, but as the mould sits, up the way where the bubbles will get trapped. And when it comes to demold, you'll see where I forgot to squeeze. Turned out I had the perfect amount for this little giraffe, and it filled it nicely, so that was a bonus. But as I says, I am so glad that I actually did this just in a black so that I could see where potential bubbles were before I made it for an order. Hopefully I won't have any issues the next time I do it, which you will see in the next video, because I am doing some orders for the content of my next video, and then you'll get to see a couple of other moulds being done. I'm sure you've already seen one of them. It's the snake skull mould. And those will be in my next video, which I'll be doing the voiceover for soon, because as of today, voiceover for this one, I'll be heading to start it in a minute. But that's me giving his nose a squeeze. I can still see the bubble, so I'm squeezing it some more. And squeezing. And squeezing. And squeezing some more. Because I'm very concerned that I can still see a little bubble. And oh, look, there he is. It's just popped up there at the bottom. Top. Surface area. I'll get a little pop. But I'll go back and give it some more squeezes. Not as good a squeezes as I thought it was. And look, pop, there goes another little bubble to the surface. I'll put him over to the back of the mat and give them all a little spray with some isopropyl alcohol, just to make sure that there are no bubbles at the base of any of them. A nice little tappy bouncy. I need to make sure I've got the bottle facing the right way, because I am superbly wonderful at spraying it and it sprays off to the side somewhere. Thankfully I've never sprayed myself in the face with it. But that's those all finished, and I will be back once these are ready for demold, which you will see in a couple of minutes. Seconds. There we go. We're back again. Now, I'm umming and on as to what to demold, but I'm like, I need to demold this to find out what it is. Oh look, it's got a little tushy. It's got a little bum. Or as we Scots would say, it's got an arse. There we go. Lovely mould for demoulding, really soft and squishy. These are great for demoulding things. Look, it's got a hand covering it. Have you figured out what it is? Quick, put it in the comments below before I demold it and tell me what you think it is. It's a naked lady. I had no idea what that mould was. The shape of it was just absolutely confusing to me. I never bought it. I'd never seen it, so I had no idea what it was. Needs a little clean up round the thighs. And as you can see, little black marks is where I hadn't powdered it properly, because I couldn't see it and I didn't know if it was powdered properly. Now I'll do the lion and you will see what the little flat bit is on his head, because I turned this mould inside out to dust it. So I didn't see the shape of the crown, just a little flat bit on the top. So I thought the lion had a little flat head, but he doesn't. It's a crown, and I will colour his crown. I'll do it silver so it stands out from his goldy yellow looking body. And I don't know why I'm sitting there thinking what I'm thinking, but I'm tapping it, thinking. Don't know why. I'll use some chrome silver to do his crown, and then that'll finish him off, because wonderful and sweet as he is, he was perfect. There was no bubbles. Look at that little nose. So that lion, the customer's very happy with how he looks, so he'll go and find his little forever home. Now here comes the lovely giraffe, and I am rather tepid about pulling, because I don't want to snap its neck. It just, I don't know, it seemed so tight and I didn't want to pull too hard because I didn't want his head to snap off. But ta-da! Look, look. No bubbles under his chin, but I missed one of his horns. What had happened, by the looks of it, is a tiny drip had went into the little ball area of his horn, but no more went in, so it left a gap between the ball of the horn and the body, so the little horn part didn't fill in. So I have a one-horned giraffe. Now the next time I do this giraffe, he's going to be purple. And I just thought, if I colour one eye, don't colour the other eye, he'll be a one-eyed, one-horned purple people eater. And he'll be pink and purple, so he'll sure look good to me. Please tell me I'm not the only one old enough to remember that song. But there you go, there's his tiny little bit of horn. No, the little ball part on the top of his horn. Just a little ball part. So next time I make this, at least I'll know where I need to concentrate on squeezing as well as on his little nose area. But yeah, it's so cute. Off now to demold the apple. And this takes a moment or two to demold, because I can't quite seem to get to grips with pulling it off. I struggle for a moment or two. I even enlist the help of a little micro brush. Well, I've just had to restart the audio because for some strange reason the back end of the audio was so super weird, crackly and horrible noisy. But here we go, I'm getting the micro brush. So let's hope this audio turns out fine. Looking at it as I'm talking, it looks like it's okay. But I can't seem to get the micro brush under the rim properly because it's very soft. It's not a thick, hard material. Hey, you bells. Oh, here comes my little buddy. There's my kiddo. But I managed to get it, and I pulled it off. And yeah, I know, I'm off camera again. Absolute pest. So I am. But I'm teasing this gently because I don't want to pop this end bit off. It's perfectly hard. The resin's completely set. I was just paranoid that I was going to break the stock off. Oh, there you go. I remembered the name of it in the last voiceover part. I couldn't remember the name of that little bit at the top of the apple. But I didn't want to break the stock off. I got one or two little bubbles in there. One biggie bubble. And a couple of little micro bubbles. Tiny, tiny micro bubbles. But I really like the look of it. Hold on a sec. I think Belle's okay. Here I couldn't quite get this because I've never used the mould before. The mould's never been used before, so I decided to give it a little squirt of some isopropyl alcohol. And then I rub it round about, give it a little squeeze so that the isopropyl goes underneath the silicone. And from there, it actually pops out really easily. Get my knuckles under there and I just start to pull it and roll it up the way. And again, yep, there we go. Ooh, I took it off camera. It's so hard when you try to get something off of your creation, because sometimes it gets so stick, and instinctively you pull it towards you so that you can use your body as a bit of leverage against it. So it always ends up going off screen. Gotta turn that mold back the right way round. So, with this being done in the clear resin, it actually makes it look quite nice. Well, though, I could have, because it's the Halloween season, maybe tried to do it a little more spooky. But there again, Snow White's apple wasn't spooky looking. It looked like a regular apple. So you never know what poison's hiding beneath it. But yep, the bottom needs a little bit of a rebur, because I poured it all, but it seemed to go quite thin on the bottom. But actually what I will do instead is I'll actually fill that little gap bit with some UV resin, just to give it that little bit of extra thickness. And there we go, there's our little lion, our naked lady. I still can't believe that weird shaped mould turned out to be a naked lady. And our little tiny giraffe. Oh, my one-horned giraffe. He's such a cutie. I'm going to keep that one on my desk, where I seem to keep all the ones that I mess up. There you go. That's everything from me. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Comment down below. Bye for now, people.